What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and it is that time of year. Once again, we are only a few short weeks until the biggest video game press event of the year. That's right, E3 is almost here, and this video is the E3 hype train. Going to talk a bit about the games that I expect to see and the things that I hope to see at this year's E3. So we're going to start off with what we're not going to see, and that is primarily Nintendo. As they've said, no NX, no Direct. We're only going to see Zelda, only on the Wii U, live streams from Treehouse, nothing else playable on the show floor except for Zelda, which is insane. Like, they have other Wii U games coming this year. Not a lot. They've got that Fire Emblem game, and they've got Paper Mario. But still, why would a game coming out in June, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, not be on the show floor playable? Why would Paper Mario Color Splash not be? I don't know what the Nintendo game plan is here besides Reggie saying, play the game. But shit, man, there's not much to look forward to here. And I always look forward to Nintendo because usually they're pretty good about keeping secrets. So what the hell? Moving on to Sony though, the question is will they or won't they talk about the PS4 Neo? And if you don't know, that's basically an upgraded version of the PS4. They called it PS4K, PS 4.5, whatever. There were a bunch of leaked things a little while ago about that stuff. So the question is, are they going to actually announce it at E3, or are they going to wait for the PlayStation Experience later this year? Certainly in terms of hardware they have announced, the PSVR, the headset deal is out in October. I have one pre-ordered. There should be plenty of that at their press conference. I would expect to see a God of War 4, perhaps for next year. I would certainly hope to see a release date for The Last Guardian. Dear God, just give us a release date for The Last Guardian. I need that shit. I would expect to see Final Fantasy stuff, both in Final Fantasy 15 and in the Final Fantasy 7 remake. Speaking of remakes, certainly I would expect to see some Shenmue 3 footage, perhaps a Shenmue 1 and 2 remastered is also a possibility. Hoping to see more on Gravity Rush 2, and hoping that Horizon Zero Dawn is not delayed till next year. I'm hoping it's still this year, because that game looks amazing. Other than that, I really don't know what Sony kind of has up their sleeve, what Sony Bend is doing. Will they or won't they on a Crash Bandicoot reboot? Is there going to be a new Wipeout? Like, these are all the questions that I'm curious about. I'm sure they'll have something new. I'm sure they'll have a focus on the indie stuff, which I'm always excited about. But, you know, kind of a lot of unknowns in the Sony press conference this year. Now, Microsoft, Xbox. I don't think we're going to see the fabled Xbox 1.5. I think Bill Spencer was pretty clear on that stuff. Now, we might see an Xbox One Slim. They might have actually managed to take this giant fucking box here, slim it down, give a better price point for that, maybe perhaps pack in a game. I don't know. That would not surprise me in any way. But in terms of games, obviously, their big game, their big show game here is Gears of War 4. They're going to have Halo Wars 2. They're going to have new Forza stuff. I'm hoping to see gameplay from ReCore. I'm hoping to see gameplay from that new Rare game, Sea of Thieves. I'm hoping to see more polished gameplay from Scalebound, which looked a little rough last year. Scalebound did get delayed until next year, but hopefully more polished gameplay of that at E3. Does Phantom Dust still exist in any capacity? I'd like to know. Will we get a digital game for Battletoads? Is it finally time for a new Battletoads? Just what the hell is Undead Labs, the guys who made State of Decay? What are they working on? Will that get unveiled at E3? Will we see some kind of a VR or just more HoloLens solution from Microsoft on their show stage? And just what is 343 Industries working on besides helping out with Halo Wars 2? Is there a Halo teaser in the works for E3? Now, obviously, those are just the big three in terms of the hardware makers, but there are other conferences that are happening, notably EA, Ubisoft, and Bethesda, who is back for their second year actually doing a press deal. Now, Bethesda is interesting because last year, obviously, it was Doom and it was Fallout 4. Those were the big things at their press event. They did tease Dishonored 2, and there were a few things here and there. But the question is, what are they doing this year? Obviously, Dishonored 2 is the big thing. That's going to be out the soonest. And certainly, I expect to see Fallout 4 DLC. But will we see Doom single-player DLC? Is it too soon? That game just came out. Do we see Prey 2, which has long been rumored? Do we see the new game from Tango Games, the guys who made The Evil Within? Is there a new Shinji Mikami game in the works from Tango? Because, man, I would love to see some of that. What's Machine Games working on? Is there a new Wolfenstein, or is there something else from them? Because that Wolfenstein, The New Order and the Old Blood, I really enjoyed. And obviously, the biggest question in the room, considering they just shipped Fallout 4, what's going on with Elder Scrolls, and is it too early to talk about a new Elder Scrolls? Moving on to EA, though, obviously, we're going to see Mass Effect Andromeda. I expect gameplay from Mass Effect Andromeda. That's out early 2017, I believe. Obviously, we're going to see Titanfall 2 at the EA press conference. I'm sure we'll get more Star Wars Battlefront DLC. I'm hoping to see one of those new Star Wars games. They got Visceral and the Amy Hennig team and whoever else. They got new Star Wars stuff in the works. I should say new Star Wars single-player, third-person adventure stuff, which to me is a lot more exciting than more fucking Battlefront. I think they said they're skipping Need for Speed this year, but just what the hell is Criterion Games working on? They had that weird prototype last year before last, and they haven't said anything about that since, so like what's going on with Criterion? But other than that, you know, the usual sports games, sim stuff, casual bullshit, whatever. So, Ubisoft. Do we finally confirm Watch Dogs 2 as being an actual product? I expect to see more footage of For Honor. I expect to see more footage of Ghost Recon Wildlands, that cocaine game. I think they're taking a year off on Assassin's Creed this year. I think that's what they said. Do they tease a new Far Cry? Do they end their show? They've been ending their show the past couple of years with a big reveal of an unannounced game. Could that be a return of Splinter Cell? But to me, the most interesting thing comes from a recent trademark I'd seen for Trials Fusion Blood Dragon. And I'm assuming that's some kind of a DLC, but I love Red Links, and I want to know what the hell are they working on. So, moving on to other companies who don't have a stage show, but might show up on somebody else's stage or might make their own announcements in their own booths. I think if you're going to announce the North American release date for Persona 5, it would be at E3. Now, is that going to be 2016 in English? Who knows? I certainly fucking hope so. And that brings me to Capcom, who's been pretty quiet as of late outside of, 8,000 Monster Hunter games. Do they unveil Resident Evil 7? But more interestingly enough, do they unveil the Resident Evil 2 remake, which was confirmed they are working on it? Is that shown here in any capacity? Also, what is Capcom Vancouver, the Dead Rising team, working on these days? And also, is Deep Down just never gonna happen? Where's Deep Down? Do we get a new Dragon's Dogma? I know it's probably not gonna happen. I was hoping that the PC port of the original would have spurred on enough sales to go, okay, yes, people want more Dragon's Dogma. I fucking loved Dragon's Dogma, but somehow I don't see there being a Dragon's Dogma 2. However, I wouldn't mind seeing an English release of Dragon's Dogma Online. What is the team at 4A, the Metro team? What are they working on? Do we get a new Metro or something in that vein? They make really pretty games. Considering that From Software has been churning out a game just about every year, past couple of years, do we see a Bloodborne 2? Do we see a different Souls game spin-off? What is From Software doing? And do we see it on, say, a Sony stage or a Microsoft stage or what? I wouldn't really expect to see Rockstar at E3. Traditionally, they don't go to E3. Their announcements are big enough to kind of have their own announcement. It'll just go worldwide trending no matter what. So don't get your heart set on seeing Red Dead 3 at E3. It could always happen, but that seems to be something they have their own thing for. And speaking of threes, and no, I don't mean Half-Life 3, come on now, but Left 4 Dead 3. That could be on a stage somewhere. I'd like to see that. And I suppose, finally, do we get to find out what Rocksteady is working on after Batman Arkham Knight? Like, what have they been doing since they finished up Batman Arkham Knight? Is it far enough along to be shown at E3? Is it going to be another comic property? Will they perhaps do like a Suicide Squad game or a Superman game or something completely different? But certainly I expect it to be an open world action game with that Batman style combat. So that is my E3 hype video for 2016, full of things that I do know and things that I don't know. Certainly, obviously, I get excited for indie games, but usually indie games are better suited to PAX. But certainly, if Cappy could give us a release date on Below for the Xbox One, finally, that would be great. And obviously, there are a lot of announced and unannounced Japanese games that might get localizations. That's usually not really an E3 announcement. There are other kind of shows that seem better suited toward that kind of thing. But if somebody wanted to announce Disaster Report 4 at E3, I wouldn't complain, seriously. Anyway, that's it. Let me know what you're excited about this year at E3 in a few short weeks. Can't wait. I'm not sure how I'm going to do E3 coverage on this channel this year. I don't know. Let me know. What do you want to see? I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos every day, and I'll see you next time right here on this channel. In a mo.